my time on the floor yet.
Yeah, at the end.
Oh, at the end.
Yeah, of course. All right. Association board meetings are defined as any gathering for the purpose of conducting association business by the members of the board of directors at which a quorum is present. Notice of board meetings will be posted within the community and the association website 48 hours, about 2 days in advance of the meeting. However, in certain circumstances, such as the adoption of assessments or some types of rules, written notice must be posted and provided to the members at least 14 days, about 2 weeks in advance. In accordance with Florida law, an item of business that is not noticed may only be addressed on an emergency basis, such as situations involving sudden damage to a building, natural disasters, and similar events. Emergency actions must be ratified or approved at the board's next properly noticed meeting, as to which a quorum of directors is attained. All members of the condominium association board have legal duties. These duties include a fiduciary duty of care and duty of loyalty to act in the association's best interest. When directors join the board, they are expected to read the governing documents. The Association Code of Conduct is a document that outlines board members' legal, ethical, and behavioral responsibilities. In addition, it includes meeting attendees' decorum during the board meeting. First, compliance with enforcement of the association's governing documents. Enforcement of the condominium association bylaws and governing documents can present a variety of legal and practical challenges, but enforcement can become even more challenging when one, the unit owner who is non-compliant is a board member, or two, the board members who are seeking to enforce other owners' obligations are not subject themselves to the same standards.
Or three, all
The
board members
Condominium
together
Association
control the
Board's
board.
Code of Conduct includes the following: requires all board members to be less than 90 days delinquent on their assessment and other obligations to the unit owners. Requires all board members to consistently enforce unit owner obligations regardless of an individual unit's owner's identity or relationship to a member of the board, and require board members to voluntarily resign if they fail to remedy a continuing violation of the association's governing documents in a timely manner. Confidentiality of non-public matters. Board members should have a general obligation to maintain confidentiality with respect to all privileged matters and personal matters which are non-membership association matters. Let me give you an example. When the screening is done for a prospective unit owner or renter, we do background check and credit. So if a board member serves on the screening committee, you're going to have privileged access to very highly sensitive information that is not to be shared with anybody. The other thing is legal matters. If there's some pending legal matters or threats of legal matters, those discussions should not be discussed because they're in legal proceedings or potential legal proceedings. The other thing is when a unit owner is in default, that meaning they're behind, and the unit owner shares with the attorney that does collections, and the attorney in itself speaks to the treasurer or the president or any board member regarding consideration for some type of payment plan, and they discuss why, and this unit owner disclose why they're falling behind and why they have a financial hardship. Those types of matters are confidential. So that's what we're talking about. All right. Requires all board members to consistently enforce unit owners' obligations regardless of the individual unit owner's identity. Oh, I'm sorry, let me go back. As unit owners, board members will receive questions from their neighbors regarding matters to which they have become privy in their official capacity. I just gave you examples. Discussing options that are on the table before a final decision is made, discussing matters that pertain to individual unit owners, and discussing other matters that have a potential legal implication can lead to unnecessary issues for the association. Self-dealing and other conflict of interest. Board members' duty of care and duty of loyalty requires that they make decisions in the association's best interest when acting in their official capacity. While self-dealing or engaging in other conflicts of interest are considered a breach of fiduciary duty and are legally prohibited regardless of Does the board have any feedback, changes regarding page 1?
No.
Do any of the unit owners present have any feedback to any of the information they heard on page 1? All right. Page 2. The condominium association awards contracts through a competitive bid process, and awards are based on the majority of the vote in order to provide the association's best interest rather than the interest of the individual board member. Tonight, we have 3 proposals to get our mitigation credits applied for the 9 completed buildings for the roof. We're coming up to renewal in just before the summer, so these mitigation credits are going to be extremely important for us. We'll discuss that at a later agenda item. Exercising due care in all association matters. All board members are required to exercise due care in connection with all association matters. As board members are volunteers, it's important to acknowledge the importance and implications of their responsibilities. First, regular attendance and good faith participation at board meetings. Board members are expected to regularly attend all meetings, whether in person or remotely. I just want to let the board know I do have a speakerphone by Platonics, so if anybody ever needs to join via phone, I'm going to start bringing that. Just let us know ahead of time. I'd much rather you participate via phone than not participate at all. All right. Decisions that impact the association. Board members are required to exercise due care when making decisions that impact the association. Decisions that impact unit owners. Board members are required to exercise due care to all decisions that have a direct impact on unit owners. These decisions are amongst the most likely to lead to disputes and litigations. Maintenance dues increases, special assessment, changes to maintenance schedules, rules and regulations, improvements to common area must be addressed carefully to protect the association's best interests and to comply with their fiduciary duties to fulfill statutory city and county requirements. Financial management and accounting. All board members are obligated to exercise due care in managing association finances and handling accounting matters. Engaging outside professionals. From time to time, the board may determine a need for outside professionals. This may mean engaging accountants, lawyers, engineers, consultants, or any professional depending on the specific issue under consideration. While board members should be capable of handling the day-to-day responsibilities independently, the board should also make the right decision to seek outside help when matters exceed their knowledge or capabilities in order to use their best business judgment to make decisions on behalf of the association. That's why you see sometimes legal here, we have our engineering firm here, we have our contractors here, our project managers. These are the subject matter experts. We're not. Board of Director meeting decorum. Condominium board meetings. Decorum requires that participants know, understand, and comply with the rules. Decorum is the behavior considered to be correct, polite, and respectful. The chairperson of the meeting is charged with enforcing the meeting decorum rules. Consensus. The place for debate is inside the board meeting. Once a vote is taken, directors should not express dissenting views after the meeting. Decisions of the board shall stand, and unity of the board will assist membership in working with the board. It's tougher now that we have a 9-board meeting membership. So if there are any disagreements, you agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we need to vote on something. And then that's it. Once the majority of the vote done, it's over with, we move on. Digital distractions. Maintain proper decorum and focus at meetings by turning off cell phones and other electronic devices that cause distractions. If access to messages is a priority, turn devices to vibrate. Obviously, phones, computers, and other devices may need to be used to show or look up information, but all board members can exert some self-control and give the agenda items their undivided attention. This will allow for the effectiveness of meetings. Texting others in the meeting is discouraged. Take emergency calls if you do. For example, my mom was in the ER last night, so I have my phone on vibrate, so if you see that I have to leave, I'll be walking away, okay? Involvement. Board members should remain engaged in between meetings. This includes preparing for the next meeting by reading and asking questions shared a lot of information since the election, and that's done. We intend that you come prepared and you're expected to read everything. It just makes the meeting go along. Timeliness, to respect the time of all board members and unit owners in attendance, a quorum of the board is necessary to conduct business. We are a board of 9. A quorum is 50% plus 1. So, I'm sorry, it would be 50%, it would be 5 people. Exactly. A quorum of the board is 5. So there always has to be an odd number for voting purposes. If there's a meeting and we don't have a quorum, either via telephone or we would have to cancel the meeting. So we always have to have a minimum of 5 board members to conduct board business, okay? All right. Board members need to, we never really have this issue. Board members need to be on time or arrive early during meeting. Okay, before we go to the third page. Any discussion here at the table on page 2? Any additions? Any?
I think it's overkill for a volunteer public service that we're providing this community. I think this amount of rules that you're proposing is like, to me, it's like a hush order.
We need it though.
For what? To silence the truth?
No, we need it so that it could be organized and so we can get the information that we need to get to.
It hasn't worked in the past.
Sean, in
Yes.
order for the
But I know you guys are all working together, so
in
let's get
order
that
for the
clear.
community to know the
We have
information,
this
we
time
have to
right
have
here.
some sort of organization. And this is a
Look who's
distraction.
voting. Look who's
This
voting.
is exactly what
This
we're
table is
talking
gonna
about
vote
here.
continuously
This is
to
a
support their
distraction.
agendas.
Make it stop. Okay, as chair
Says the other
let me
former
continue
president.
with this so we can adopt the board decorum. And I'm going to give any board member that continuously
And you're gonna
asks,
tell this check right over
you'll be given
here.
a warning and then you'll be asked to leave.
I'm sorry, but the police are gonna have to come again.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, they
They
need to
will.
come.
Well,
Anybody
They need to come.
that
They do.
disrupts
Well-
this
Because you are not letting
association
this
from
continue.
conducting
This
business
is gonna
will
take
be
hours.
asked to
No,
leave.
I have a lot to do, and I'm
Okay.
sure we all do as
Well,
well.
I can video too. It's all on video.
That's fine.
Good, great.
So is all the
Yes, sir.
furniture about city faculty.
And then at the top of the page 2, I just want to be clear with this competitive
Okay.
bidding process and that it's based on the majority of the board.
All votes are the majority. Yeah.
There's no one person, there's no officers making a decision.
No,
It's none of
sir.
that. It's
I'm
You'll
sorry, I
see-
can leave you all
You'll
together.
see,
I'll
you'll see
debate that.
tonight, we have 3 proposals.
Yeah.
All the board members have been giving 3 proposals for our mitigation credit. We'll open the table for discussion. Then someone will motion for a vote for which of the 3 proposals we want to accept. And then whoever we grant the proposal to, that will be. So it's a majority vote,
Okay,
okay?
I just want to be clear.
All right, anything else on page 2? Can we continue? Yes. All right. During meeting, it helps to avoid wasting time with questions that might be irrelevant or better addressed before or after a meeting. If a board member is going to be absent from a board meeting, please email all board members so no one is waiting to start the meeting. Everybody here is a unit owner inclusive of the boards. Let's respect each other's time. Adhere to the time restriction. All board members will have a speaking time limit of 3 minutes, depending on the amount of business to be conducted and the overall allotted time for the meeting. Each board member should be respectful of other members and plan their remarks to fit within the allotted time frame. I have brought in my trusty timer. Not only are the board members going to now, once we adopt this, be held to the 3 minutes, you to the floor, when you're given the floor, you will also be held. Remember Robert's Rules of Orders, for those of you that were here. In Robert's Rules of Order, every unit owner needs to allow every unit owner to speak first before going around and allow the same unit owner to speak. And you'll see that when you go the first 3 minutes and then the second time around for the same unit owner, you get an additional 1.5 minutes. And by the way, this code of conduct and ethics is very industry standard. I am in the industry, as a lot of you have read in my bio. So this is industry standard, so just so you know. Okay, be recognized. The meeting chair has a responsibility to complete the agenda. That's me. I sent to the board members because of the Holy Week, we didn't get some agenda items, and I apologize if it felt like a rush, but everybody, it was spring break and so forth. But we got a nice agenda going today, and I appreciate everybody's feedback that answered. All right, all unit owners will be provided an opportunity to speak on the floor for 3 minutes regarding anything on the agenda. No unit owner will be given another opportunity to speak until all unit owners present have had the opportunity to speak at least once. Unit owners providing the floor a second time will be provided an additional 1.5 minutes to speak on the agenda item. Anyone seeking to be recognized must raise their hand or ask for the floor. The board seeks to avoid arguments or increased volume in the room, so they seek to avoid sidebar conversations. And when you sit up here and you're hearing chattering, it's really hard to hear what a unit owner is trying to say. Let's see, when board members or unit owners call out or interrupt, it's not only disrespectful, but it also slows things down. Stay on the topic. The board members will adhere to the agenda. It serves as a roadmap for the board and the meeting. Frequent distractions at the meeting will not be tolerated. Be mindful of phrases and language. Confidentiality, information shared, we kind of touched on this. Shared in board meetings may be sensitive, for instance, grievances, contracts, or finances. Follow the lines of communication for announcing board news. Treat discussions and documents confidentially. Beware of posting board news to social media as defamation occurs when a third party is provided our association information, and we want to avoid any lawsuits. Prepare. Board members shall prepare for meetings as it's their fiduciary duty. If there are any materials that need to be reviewed beforehand, please review them. This helps us speed up the process. This can include meeting agendas, financials, reports, to name a few. Board members must think about their input beforehand and compose any questions or concerns they may have. Many questions can be answered beforehand. Not coming prepared to the board meeting results in wasted time and repeated conversations from previous meetings. The board members shall be sure that the official governing documents are read and understood at the start of the term. For those of you that are new board members, Marjorie, I don't think you weren't here. Jay, you get with Jay because there's, you have two options. You can either, all board members must refrain from attacking another board member or his or her motive or personal attacks, and it is unprofessional to do so. Board members should avoid personality disputes, and under no circumstance can he or she attack or question the motives of another board member or call another board member by a derogatory name. The issue, not the board member, is the subject of debate. The moment one board member begins to attack another board member, the chairperson shall be entitled to act immediately and decisively to stop the board member and prevent any reoccurrence. Any comments, questions?
I have some comments.
Sure.
Okay, so this is a repeat of the stuff I went through in 2008, 2009 when we did a recall. Same
Okay,
scenario.
no.
It's the same stuff.
No.
It's the same stuff.
I'm
This
asking
one
you
here
if
is
you
against
have.
what we're trying to do. Yes. And you all were in Elizabeth's WhatsApp group too. Yes.
Okay,
We have it. We have witnesses, Elizabeth.
Great.
Did you ever turn in the petition for our budget for the 2020?
Sean,
You didn't.
all right, I'm gonna continue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue. Sean, do you have anything for page 3?
For page 3, let me see what my notes say. I read it. I don't listen to it. I've already reread it before I came here.
This is why coming prepared is important.
No, I just need my personal
Waste of
page.
time.
I've already made my notes. See?
Okay, share us your notes for page 3, so we can move along.
Page 4. So for page 3, my notes are
This is the one that starts on the
the
top.
confidentiality one in regards to all property of the 128, all this here is property of the 128 unit owners that live here.
Which the
I
board
have
are,
128.
which the
All of you
board,
are.
which the board members are
And
unit
they have
owners.
a legal right to inspect everything. If you go to other condominium associations, all the financials, everything are on the websites.
That's not what it says, Sean. This
The
is, I
confidentiality.
explained confidentiality reality, there are board members that are going to be part of the screening committee, are going to possibly receive an email why someone is in default. Nobody's personal finances, nobody's background, nobody's credit report is something to be discussed. That's what I say about confidentiality. This is not a gag order. This is, I have a duty to
We all do.
inform
We
the
all
board
understand
of what they
that. Like
need
city
to do.
implementation,
Great.
fine.
Anything else on page 3, Sean?
Let's see. Well, I think some of these rules are designed to control who speaks on the floor, like, you know. And I think it should be more open to the communication with the unit owners out here, since they're the ones where I'll sit here and, you know, using their time. And the reason that I'm debating all this stuff is because it needs to get right, because it hasn't been right. We've had all this information, city with plantation leaves and fines, we didn't know about that.
Sean,
That
that's
is very important, it's gonna be $2
that
million.
has nothing to do with
$2
page
million
3.
by the end of the construction period.
Okay, Sean, anything else on page 3?
That's what's important, this minutia,
Oh, okay, great.
It's
Let's
not
go
important.
on. Any other board member page 3? All right, let's go to page 4, final page. Remain calm, yes.
I just want to clarify.
Yes, sir.
Page 3, just page 3.
All right,
We have time restrictions in here, you have time restrictions for the unit owners to speak. We do not.
3 minutes.
Is that for the law, or is it?
Okay, so you have that,
I know
so
that
unit
is.
owners they are allowed to speak according to the agenda item and as an open forum.
Correct,
So unit owners can speak.
correct.
Thank you so much.
Right.
and that is per Florida law, I didn't remember that.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving along. Remain calm. Wow. A board member may not always agree with what others have to say, but board members are expected to find ways to voice their opinion without outbursts or putting others down. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. If you disagree, go through the proper channels to share your concern and insight without making personal attack and response. Contribute. There are many ways. I'm super excited. We're finally 9 members again after so many years. We can distribute the work. We were doing 3 for the work of 9. I'm super excited, and I can't wait for Elizabeth to go over some of the stuff that she and partner and some of the other members are going to do. There are many ways to contribute. Board members bring knowledge and resources to the table. Remember, we are not lawyers, attorneys, contractors, engineers. We rely on subject matter experts. Board members must exercise diplomacy and tact to make sure that everyone can contribute. Don't interrupt. Every speaker has the right to use his or her time to speak without interruption. All board members and owners are expected to give each speaker the courtesy and respect to finish their sentence or train of thought. It is important to stay on schedule and stick to the agenda. The agenda will help the board stay on schedule with the meeting and allow the board to prevent thoughts and conversations from dragging on longer than necessary. Any board member, owner that engages in disruptive or unruly behavior of any kind will be asked to leave the meeting. All board members, owners will be provided 2 warnings. A 3rd warning will result in the board member owner being asked to leave the meeting for the board to be able to continue conducting association business. Trying to find out what members have in common rather than what divides us is important to finding a resolution. Be concise. All board members are expected not to deviate from the main topic and stick to the agenda. This is important as it keeps discussions on track and allows it to be more productive and effective. Be clear. This is for everyone. When a board member or unit owner speaks, they need to be clear. They need to project their voice so that everyone in attendance can understand and stand properly. By doing so, a board member or unit will avoid people from asking statements to be repeated and delay the meeting. Motions, seconds, and voting. As per Robert's Rules of Order, a board member will make a motion, a second must follow a motion. If no one seconds a motion, the motion dies. In other words, end of story on the topic. The chair will not permit any side discussions to avoid deviating from the topic at hand. After the motion is made and second, following discussion, the chair then will call for a board vote. Open forum. The board will allow during a unit owner open forum at the end of the meeting. Any unit owner may speak once, provided the floor 3 minutes. No owner will be permitted to speak again until all owners have been provided the opportunity to speak at least once. Once a unit owner is provided a second chance to speak, they'll be provided an additional 1.5 minutes on the floor. The chair has full discretion in closing all discussions. The chair can close the discussion if they feel the speaker is over the time limit, being repetitive, combative, or using inappropriate language. The open forum must be on the agenda, and it's usually one that always is, as the chair is not obligated to address items that are not on the meeting agenda. Instead, new issues can be included in an upcoming meeting should the chair decide to put something on the agenda. Meeting minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, our new secretary, Elizabeth Palin, is responsible for taking minutes at each meeting and reading the minutes from the previous session as part of the proceedings, unless the board votes to waive the reading of the minutes, which we did. Meeting minutes serve as an official record of meetings for the association's motion and approval of the same. Minutes summarize motions made and actions taken, not a verbatim transcript of everything said at the meeting. Celebrate. Imagine that. There will be successes and milestones to celebrate along the way. Recognize the good work of committees, officers, and fellow directors as remembering they are volunteers. And any variations, changes, alterations of the above rule decorum will require a majority of the vote at a duly noticed meeting. Members of the board, any feedback, changes to the last page?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't like how motions are controlled only amongst the president, vice president, and secretary. You seem like you're trying to control what's brought to the floor.
Where does it say that on this document?
In the, well, wait a minute. Or was it another document I was thinking about here? Now, there was one document that said that
Okay, we're on the document.
the any
labeled
agenda brought to the meeting
code
has
of
to be
conduct, ethics,
brought
and
like a
decorum.
month ahead, right?
No, we're not going ahead, sir. I'm asking, do you have any feedback on this last page? You're going ahead. We're going to get to that, Sean.
This is my feedback right here.
Okay, all right. Members of the board, any feedback before I open?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have the right to speak on what we're proposing. Anything that you heard? You have any feedback? No? Okay. I'm going to make a motion to accept the condominium board meeting code of conduct, ethics, and decorum as reviewed.
I'll second.
I second.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Yeah, nays.
2 nays. All right, the motion passes. This, ladies and gentlemen, will go on to the website as an official document of association. On to, let's give her the meetings a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Yeah, Elizabeth, give us some good news.
Well, can we get the, can I make a
Proposal?
suggestion? No, I'm gonna suggest that we do the project updates.
Yes, so we don't go again. Gentlemen, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, I had to. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you for project updates. Jatin. Jatin is with S&D Engineering. He's the VP to Farouk Saeed, who's the main engineer. We also have Daniel from S&D Engineering. And I'm sorry, sir, I forgot your name.
My name is Majid.
Majid.
Yes.
Majid is also from the engineering firm.
Can we get business cards or
Yeah.
spell out your names?
Sure, sure.
Pass those out, those are good. I do want to say for any of the unit owners that are in one of the 9 buildings that the roofs were done, you should have received on your door, there's an official mailing happening, but I do have copies of the letter. The work continues, it's expected to continue April 15th. So before you leave, grab this, if you're in all of phase 4 and building 16, 17, and 18, phase 3. In other words, if you just recently had your roof changed, you want to get one of these, okay? All right.
It is being mailed to everybody to your secondary address if you don't live there. It was stuffed indoors tonight, building 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for